Hello and welcome to another edition of the Low Code Cafe. This is the edition 134 for April 19th, 2023. Today we're going to talk about unleashing the power of low code, where Tradelytics takes the stage. And that's an interesting and exciting use case that I hope you'll enjoy. Before we get into that, let me introduce myself. I am Dale Warner, Head of Support for Athena. This is an event we do every Wednesday this hour to talk about updates, demos, and hands-on low coding for Plant and App. It's a community webinar, and I said weekly. It's a bi-weekly. We switched to bi-weekly not that long ago. So we do invite you to come be a part of this week by week as we do it live, but of course it's available on recordings as well. All of these are out on YouTube, youtube.com/plantandapp. Today's agenda I'll give a few updates in the from the trenches segment, from the trenches of support, but then we'll go right on to hands-on low code development and what Tradelytics did. Do engage with us though, please. There's a chat window and a Q&A window, or you can raise your hand and speak if you like. And after it's all over with, there's a feedback form that we'd love to get your feedback on this event and any events coming, what you'd like to see coming up. The links for that are on the emails that we send to you. Just by way of schedule, the Low Code Cafe is bi-weekly, and the next live webinar will be May 3rd. And we have another guest speaker who will be coming to talk to us about some things that he's done with artificial intelligence. And at the same time, we'll be announcing some offerings from Plant and App around artificial intelligence as well. So I think that one will be an exciting one. Do put it on your schedule. We are in the midst of getting version 125 released. And so our beta period was complete for that. And our tentative release date is April 25, maybe 26, but coming up quickly. And with that, let me get into the few things that I wanted to talk about today. Previously, we've released 22 hotfixes. In this period, there are 6 new ones available for you. And I'll just run through them quickly. And then I've got an asterisk on here because I want to talk about hotfixes a little bit. But within this, there is there was a change in forms where open and pop-up was not working for a redirect to URL on Bootstrap 5. If you run into this particular issue and you want to install the hotfix, that would be one that would help you. There was also within listings a couple of different things. The root buttons with requires data setting enabled, the button wasn't showing, so that fixes that issue. There was some issues with the ability to save listing settings. And then these next two go together, that listing calendar view wasn't being shown inside tabs. And in order to get this, you have to install both hotfixes. So one for tabs, one for listings. And then there was a minor issue with the way the colors were being shown in Page Builder. So if you're using Page Builder and you changed the color of the primary color, it might show the old color, the default color, before showing the color you selected. This improves that to show the color correctly. But the thing that I wanted to talk about, the asterisk, was that this forms update that we just listed, and the hotfix is available to fix one issue. There is a known issue with it, that the multi-file upload doesn't work as expected at 5.24.24, that hotfix release. And so it's important. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, let's go finish up with known issues. There in the updates, we show a banner that says that there are required or recommended hotfixes to install, and that banner, unfortunately, at our current version, is misleading. It's telling you that there are things to install when in fact there are hotfixes to install, perhaps, but not recommended ones. So our banner is a little bit misleading. but I wanted to, the most important thing is giving this hotfix guidance. You should install hotfixes only if they provide a fix to a feature that you need, or provide a new feature that you need. And generally, unless you're in a test environment, it's not a good idea to just install all the hotfixes. Hotfixes, we test them in the area where we change something, but they're not as tested as extensively as we do with a full release. And this, I'm giving you this particular guidance because I had a client that installed all the hotfixes just as a kind of a general measure on production instance, and then encountered this multi-file upload issue. And we're fixing it. It'll probably have a release out as quickly as tomorrow to fix the issue. But it's in a production environment, you should limit your hotfixes that you install to those that you need, not just generally everything that we release. And as always, you should apply them with caution, do some testing, have backups available. Okay, happy to take questions about that. We can talk more about it in Campfire, but this is a great segue to Campfire. The low-code Campfire is an event we do this same hour. It's every Friday, and it's a great opportunity to talk with us representatives from Plantain as well as your fellow Plantain developers, our clients. And it's an opportunity to get feedback on things you're doing, work through particular issues, and it's just a great community to be part of. So do engage in Campfire, and I will ask Patrick, please, to put these links on the chat, but you can register in advance for the low-code Campfire, and that link is on here. Our webinar recordings out on YouTube, so the link for that, our community portal, which is a great place to get questions answered both from us and from the community. And then there's that link to give us feedback on this event. Great. So with that, I wanted to invite Vivek to unmute and to be part of our discussion today. He will be presenting on Tradelytics. So Vivek has been, and Tradelytics is someone who's just identified a unique problem in the finance industry and found a way to solve it using Plantain. So we'll be looking at the solution that he's developed. It's oriented around helping students and professionals, young people, learn about the investment life cycle and leveraging the power of automation. So Vivek, good morning.
Good morning, Dale. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So before, so let me share my screen and then I will start. So just a little bit of context, right? And I think that might help in understanding why I chose Plantain and how it solved my problem, right? So, right. So idea generation and idea implementation is a very, very complex exercise, right? You have like thoughts pouring in your mind, right? And you have to be very agile, fail fast, do the things quickly, and then see if it works, it doesn't work. And which means the full stack, from your user interface to your business logic to your data storage, data retrieval, all of it, right? You have to try it multiple iterations and see what works, what doesn't work when it comes to innovation. Right, so it's not like something like a fixed SDLC where you have done the design and you do the development and stuff like that, right? It's very agile, very fluid altogether, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to fail fast, plus you got to basically deliver quick to basically see that it makes sense, and you have to build and you have to continuously create building blocks, right? Which basically will ultimately implement or give the idea a shape. So that was the challenge, right? Because this one of the problems really was that when I saw some of my son's friends and some of the other youngsters basically within professional space also, And during the pandemic or before pandemic, jumping into things like systems like Robinhood or various other platforms which provide crypto trading or quick trading mechanisms with no background in finance, no background in investment management. People will just jump in and do the trade and so on and so forth. There was no, I would say, constraints to them or no targets for them. If something is making quick money, I will make a quick money. And tomorrow it's making quick money, I will make quick money. Third day also, I will do the same thing, no matter if it falls down. So there's no way for you to anticipate and to basically judge that. So the idea was basically that, how can we build something which is basically provide youngsters a stepping stone to really understand the full investment life cycle, something which then they can import their portfolio into and can plug in into whatever platform they choose for trading, to actually provide them an educated entry point, right? So they can learn, and whoever learns better can then actually even pursue their career in the area of financial advising and something which can be even taken up into colleges and schools as in a quant club, where they can learn investment management as science altogether practically, and then apply it even in their daily lives, or apply it as a profession going down the line, right? So that was basically the idea. Now, in order to do that, right, I had to really try out various ideas in terms of how do you do the research, how do you emulate a portfolio, how do you actually manage a portfolio, how do you basically apply some artificial intelligence into it to do the recommendations, and then to find out the best possible way of doing the optimization. And it was not like something like I had a requirements written. It was almost like I was doing the planning and execution all at the same time. So without actually going into where you write a requirement, give a project to somebody, and develop the whole thing I have done single-handedly.
And this kind of speaks to the power of Plant and App to take somebody who's a subject matter expert and enable them to move forward as a developer as well. Right.
So the interesting. So by the way, I'm not really I'm not at all a user interface developer. Let's put it this way. I'm not a person who writes JavaScript code, or not a person who writes HTML or user interface code. And in my profession, I have never done that extensively. And I have done in the starting of my career, like, a lot of back-end stuff and middleware stuff, but never the front-end stuff. But I do know how to assemble the widgets and, and how a front-end should look like, but I never myself coded for it. So as I will share the screen, you can see the power this tool brought in, just basically how I was able to build real-time stories, working with the real data, and fail fast and then correct, because everything is so metadata driven, and it's actually, helped me a lot. So primarily, so let me share my screen and I will stop. Then I will continue talking also.
Perfect.
Right. So everything which comes from whether it is a planning of your investment, whether it comes planning rules for your behavior, whether it comes ingesting, taking data and then formatting it, presenting it in a way so that it helps in your decision making, as well as when it comes to dynamically creating sequels or dynamically creating charts, where it comes depending upon the strategy which you're choosing, you want to show a different chart combinations. I have used Plant and App for all of that. So I have used my tokens extensively to dynamically create charting configurations, dynamically create SQL queries to basically, get the data depending upon some business rules. Used forms to basically and even ranking the stars that you guys have, ranking mechanism to actually rank portfolios, rank trades, and stuff like that. So pretty much there are 4 or 5 modules, and even for payment mechanism, as you register and you basically transfer the portfolio, or you move from gaming into the real trading mechanism using PayPal module to basically enable payments for enabling new functionality into the tooling. Even that also I use Plant and App. So pretty much, right, you can say the whole application front end is built using Plant and App without me writing a single line of Java or JavaScript code. So as you will look at that, not only that, some sort of business logic when it comes to the charting, when it comes to some business rules for validation, right? They're all done via Plant and App. The primary modules were action grid, action forms, my tokens, PayPal module. So these were my primary modules, which I have actually used, across the board. So the way this platform works really is that this platform can, and right now it's available in the open, so in the not for profit mode as well. Well, for first 50 users, you go and you register. They will be asked for a credit card, but your credit card will not be charged. The only reason you will be asked for a credit card is just to make sure that you are somebody who's not just trying to bombard the system. You're a valid person for that reason, right? So we ask for the credit card, and then it will validate it, and then you'll be enabled. The full stack will be created. It's fully hosted on AWS. So I actually first I used, I think there was one in the market, AWS market. There was one .NET nuke that AMI that was available. So I used that and I deployed Plant and App on top of it. So, okay. Right. But I think it will be good at some point in time if you folks think of actually creating an AWS AMI which pre-installed Plant and App, enable Plant and App. That I think would, and then you can just keep releasing new versions of that AMI to do the upgrades. I think that will be a really, really awesome thing as well, going down the line, because that commoditize the product itself, and with its power to basically, quickly stand up applications. I think that might be one good thing for you guys to do going down the line.
Well, thanks for that suggestion.
So for example, here, as you can see, all of these menu screens this whole thing is developed using Plant and App. So I will just go to one of them. Like, for example, if I go to account maintenance, right? So account maintenance is a screen where you manage account rules for your portfolio, and rules are basically telling you, let me go to one of those. So all of these buttons, again, they are coming from Plant and App all together. There's a view button, there's a copy button, all of this functionality has been implemented again using Plant and App, right? So if I go to any one of them, I will go to one of them here, right? So as you can see, this ranking mechanism ranks the portfolio, meaning how good is this account doing in terms of overall performance. So I will show that, that where you can see the trades, but this is ranking, and then this ranking is displayed here. You're again using Plant and App features, and the idea here is at the account level, you can set what are my different rebalancing, how we want to rebalance my portfolio, at what frequency, what is my risk appetite, and various other parameters are out there. At the same time, you can set up, what are my account targets, right? So this is my target betas and the target parameters which you want to set, how your account should be managed. And it also tells you what is your current values for these targets, how good you are doing that. So all of this screen was, and as you can see here, these are the 2 buttons to purchase blocks of positions, to manage, also to migrate a connection. Let's say you want to migrate a connection to your broker instead of actually using in the gaming mode. So whenever you do that, you basically have to purchase. So these 2 buttons will enable a PayPal action, right? And then at the same time, the PayPal module will be will execute to enable the payment. So all of this is currently in production. It is working. And then there's something called here enable auto rebalancing. So this all of this data, all these flags when maintained and then saved into the RDS, right? Visual Activity Complete button. It's saved on SQL Server RDS in Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And there the processes are running. So those processes are basically executing the business logic. So I will switch to the process catalog. So if you see here, just ignore this divide by zero thing. But if you really see here, these are all the background business processes, jobs that are currently running, right? So there are three primary processes in the system. Execute Tradelytics OLTP is basically a backend process for online transaction processing. Execute Tradelytics OLAP is a background process for running the analytics related processes. Execute Tradelytics Matrix is a background process which actually calculate on a pre-configured frequency. I will show that your various risk matrix, performance matrix, executes the machine learning and does the predictions and so on and so forth. And then you have different processes here, which this process, so this system also has an email interface. So every time the user registers, the user gets a mailbox. The mailbox is basically created at Amazon in AWS email service, Visual Mail Service, email service, and then you get a mailbox. And then let's say if you are doing your own scanning, you are using your own logic somewhere else to figure out the best trades, you can just send an email to this mailbox and it will automatically create those orders into the system for you. So this is a job which basically scans your mailbox continuously and creates orders. Then,
wow, sounds very sophisticated.
Yeah, it is. And then all the APIs. So the way the system works really is it's an API-driven system where every registered user gets their own set of API interface. So right, so if you are in the gaming mode, then even in the gaming mode, it will use the specific API interface which is given to you as a registered user. But let's say if you migrate your connection to your broker, then you can download an add-on from this platform, and you can install that add-on to your broker's platform. Currently, the add-on is available for NinjaTrader platform, but it can be done for any platform. You download that add-on, and that add-on will then use the APIs. So those APIs are basically backed by Amazon SQS. So every time you call an API, there's an inbound message. Or an outbound is when the platform sends message back to you, right? Then there's real-time streaming of news. So all the news which you subscribe to your account and which are available from your broker would be streamed into this platform. The news is also basically cataloged based upon your current positions and the industries which basically you are currently into. So all that news is also available for inquiry, for query. Then you have different other processes, for example, continuous archiving of your data into your own data lake on Amazon S3. There's a separate process which executes machine learning every day to basically predict so you can configure whether your holding period is 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever you want. And if you configure for that period, then for that period, it will predict what is going to be the percentage return, what can be the percentage return or a maximum fall for a particular instrument. So it does that based upon, XG boost algorithm we employ over here, and there are around 8 or 10 criteria which we use in there to basically execute the machine learning. So the rest of them are supporting processes, and there's one process here calculating intrinsic from SEC. So what this process does is it also in the background, it executes every day. It basically take all the Edgar data. So Edgar is basically a system in which all the corporations, when they post their earnings, they post their earnings into Edgar data. So it gets all the balance sheet information from Edgar for all like around 4,000 or so stocks, and then it calculates intrinsic stock value for each of them based upon their balance sheet. And then it updates that. So this way you can actually see the intrinsic value of a stock also along with the actual price. So this system works, as you can see here, it works 24/7, right? It runs 24/7. And it is also, all these processes are also monitored continuously, and they are basically on a self-healing mode that, if something goes down, it comes up by itself. But that's all the backend process. So for example, now let me just demonstrate, let's say, so there's an option here for my trading desk. I will just go there, I will demonstrate that. All of this is so that the header which you're seeing on the top, I use my tokens to actually, so let's see how, let me show you that how we configure that. So there's this screen called manage links and master data. So as you see here, so think of it, this is like a robo-advisor. This is the kind of idea of this platform, a robo-advisor, which you can customize for your risk appetite. And if you are a savvy investor, you are algorithmic trader, you want to implement your own algorithms, then you can implement your own algorithms and plug it into this robo-advisor. That's the way this thing works. So here, for example, you can configure, you can configure the symbols which you want to show in the header. So for example, SPY, gold, QQQ, Dow Jones Index. So these symbols, so what it does now is there's a my token which basically configures the JavaScript for getting these indicators from TradingView.
Mm-hmm.
So if I change this, you'll see these, and I update it, this will change because that my token will dynamically change the symbol here. So and these URLs are basically the URLs which you can configure for your account for further analytics. So all of these URLs are then available in the detailed analysis of an instrument as for further analysis. So let's go there. So if I go to my trading desk, as you can see, for every portfolio there will be 3 accounts. One account is called a live account. So live account, which is your portfolio account. Other one is called a bench account, and third is called a shadow account. So live account is really where against which your performance will be measured. And then, so right now for this user ID, there are 2 live accounts enabled. And for every live account, there will also be a simulated account called a shadow account. Let me select one and I will show it to you. So live account. Yeah, this is our hypothetical data. I'm hypothetical. I mean, it's not my real portfolio, but the idea is the same.
Yep.
Right. So, for example, here, if you see, if this is a live account, there are 3 accounts for this portfolio: live, shadow, and bench. Live is the one in which you will actually place your real trades against, for which you want to earn money. Shadow is your pipeline. Is your pipeline from your emails, pipeline for your scans, or anything which you want to put in there, just as a pipeline. And then on this pipeline, you apply rules that, okay, if a trend exceeds certain things, certain number, or if the profit exceeds certain value, then this is ready for approval, and I can approve it, and it can be placed in my live account. Bench is against which you create a benchmark trades to measure performance against. So typically, you can also configure that. So you can configure go and into your benchmark, into your benchmark portfolio allocation and holidays. You can configure there what are the symbols which you want to consider as a benchmark for different sectors and industries. And for each of those symbols, benchmark trades are placed in the benchmark account. So now you see here, this is all the live positions. And these are all the shadow or the simulated positions. So I can go to any one of those, and you can see here that these stars are calculated for the performance. So let's say if I sort this thing, again, this is all plant and app. So I haven't written a single piece of front-end code for this except just writing, configuring the plant and app widgets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's say if I choose one of those that has a very high star, 4 stars, I choose Starbucks. And so you can also see information on, okay, this is created from a long bread and butter strategy, or there are others also. For example, yeah, this is created from intrinsic upside and with good prediction strategy via machine learning. This one is created based on machine learning. This one is created based upon the scan. So and let's say this one, yeah, this is also created with machine learning. So let's go to this one, ACGL. We can see trend duration. This basically tells that, okay, so duration is 30 days. That what's a 30-day trend? It's a positive, and this is a 0.19, which means that's a slope of against of a return against the time. So and this is the price. This is the intrinsic price. So this is the price. This is the intrinsic. So at Starbucks, let's go for Starbucks. 107 price, 109 intrinsic price. Predicted return and 30-day return is 4%. Predicted fall is -8%. Today's volume is 281,000. Let's go on Starbucks. Click upon that. Takes me to the screen. You can see it's 4-star already. Starbucks trade is ranked 4-star. Now the charts are created. The charts are dynamically created based upon my chart settings. Based upon my chart settings, these charts are dynamically created. And I can change these chart settings. So 1 second. Yeah. So if you see, these charts are dynamically created based upon the chart settings, and those chart settings are configurable. So what you do is you configure those chart settings, and then my tokens takes those chart settings, right, rewrites a JavaScript, for these charts. So for and you see earlier I showed you the links in the configuration. These are those links. So I can click on each of these links. I can do further detailed analysis of Starbucks, right? So for example, if I click upon, let's say, Barron's, let's see what Barron's is talking about. Okay. Or 1 second. Can you see my screen still?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So 1 second, where is that? How do I unpin? Okay. Yeah. Oh. No. I think somehow I'm having trouble in unpinning this thing, and then the panel is kind of stopping me to go to my screen. Okay, here we go. Okay. So or if I click upon, let's say, Yahoo or NASDAQ, right? So you can see it take me to Yahoo's screen for Starbucks. I can go and do the research there, come back, right? So all of these links are now enabled, for this stock. So I can go there. Then I can put comments in there, and I can go to strategy details. I can check out previous analysis. I'm not sure if the news is currently flowing in. Let me see if there is a news flowing in. Yeah, so there was no news available for Starbucks, looks like. Okay, so there's some technical issues. I'll just worry about them later. But that's the idea of, and this whole thing is developed using Plant and App.
So earlier you showed a list of jobs that are running in the background. Are those running through what, SQL Server or?
Yeah. So some of those jobs are running like in SQL Server using message broker. SQL Server message broker, and some of them are like a talent jobs, which are running, just like a batch jobs, and are continuously being monitored using a tool called Always Up.
Okay, and so you're pushing the status of those into a table that are being
Yeah.
It's a nice integration with a very powerful backend that you harnessed.
Yeah. And then there's a portfolio rebalancing screen also, just like that. And then before I go there, let's go to our see how our model. So there's a machine learning job which executes every end of day, and which basically predicts the So every end of day, what system does is it pulls in let's say if my current performance duration is 30 days, then it will pull in last 90 days of price data for all 5,000 securities. And then once it is pulled in that information, then it will recalculate the matrix for all of them. And then what it does is it basically executes machine learning after that to predict the percentage return and maximum fall. So for example, as of yesterday, 7 p.m., as you can see, the volume was little more than 100,000 data point, 100,000 records for percentage return were basically as an input for the machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then so it builds on a daily basis, and then it basically what it does is it resets every 30 days. So this way, you don't really have too old data, but at the same time you have the data which is required good enough to predict, to make a decent prediction. So this is continuously being optimized. I won't call it a very good model, but there is a model. So what I do right now really is, this is the average model error. So right now, there's one strategy, as you saw there, which says intrinsic upside strategy, which only takes into account that if the error in the prediction for a particular stock is minimal, then and it has a good intrinsic value, then only it takes into account then only it places a trade for that. So so while the model is not good, but I'm still filtering in the good predictions. The model is not good, which basically means is that many of the predictions are not good because but there are few of them which are good. So the ones which are good, I'm just filtering them out and and then applying additional performance and intrinsic analysis to make a trade upon that.
So do I understand you're saying that you're working on the model and improving it?
Yeah, I'm working on the model and improving it and it takes time. So while that is not happening, while the model is getting improved, I'm not just losing time on basically not putting any trades, but only taking up those trades where the prediction is good. Mm-hmm. And the way to do it really is that root mean square error, and if you see over here of the prediction of individual traits, I take those. If those individual traits are really good, then and then the predicted value and the actual values for the last prediction, if there's a very less discrepancy in that means a good predicted that symbol has a good prediction. So I only take those for now, but I want more and more traits to have a better prediction, right? So I want to overall improve the efficiency of my model. So that's what I'm working on. Yep. So that is where it is, and then as you can see here, there are more details available in here in terms of, let's say, how it works. Let's go to that quickly. So as I said, it's an API driven platform. There's an add-on. This is the system here on the left side, as you can see, and it's all via Tradelytics API, which are SQL backed APIs. There's an add-on there which can be installed on every installation of Ninja Trader if somebody wants to do real trading rather than running the gaming mode, and then work with it. The way the system works really is that Ninja Trader, being an order management system, there are 4 kinds of APIs. One was for market data and news for financial instruments. Other set of APIs for account values and positions. Then for automated trade management, also we have some APIs that can help in basically updating the do the automated trade management. Then we have some circuit breaker management also, which is available in there. So these are different interfaces in there into it. And then on top, the system, as you can see here, the way it simply works, you register online. Once you register, the stack would be fully created. Just go into planning, plan your benchmarks, plan your risk appetite, plan your rebalancing algorithm, right? and just play and learn. So right after that, you will be getting the full pipeline of the administrator, right? Which is me, that all the whole pipeline, everything which was there in the shadow account, the whole pipeline you get. You can pick and choose from there in your live portfolio, make and do analysis, learn to get maximum number of stars. Once you have reached a point where you're comfortable that you can basically manage the risks and basically you understand the all the matrix, and you consistently get a certain number of stars, then you can basically go and say, no, I want to connect to my live portfolio. You can migrate it to your live platform, and then you can start managing risk and executing it. This enables fundamental analysis through intrinsic value calculation, technical analysis through charting, performance analysis through the calculation of 6 different kinds of metrics, including your beta, your alpha, your tracking error, your information ratio, your Sharpe ratio, all of that, right? And then it also executes portfolio rebalancing. Now, from the architecture standpoint, like we can go there as well. Right. So now this, I mentioned AngularJS, but this is plant and app, right? This AngularJS is actually plant and app. So this DNN, plant and app, and trading view, this from the front end. And plant and app enables AngularJS.
Yep.
Right. So that's what it is. And SQL RDS, as you can see there, these are the 3 jobs which are executed via SQL Server message broker. Remainder of them are the auto-scaled talent jobs, as you can see here. Then Amazon Athena is to externalize some of the costly SQL logic. SageMaker is for machine learning. You have step functions there to execute them. And this is the architecture of the add-on as well. There's an API architecture, as you see over here. So this API architecture, as you can see, a complete stack is created for each investor via CloudFormation upon successful user registration. So this whole API stack is actually created for each user who registers gets a separate stack of APIs, because we don't know, tomorrow they may want to just download an add-on and migrate to their own broker and start using it.
Mm-hmm. So where are you in your release cycle? This is, or let's say in your maturity level for the overall product, and what's next?
Yeah, so overall product is available right now, right, for registration. So users can go and register it. I think where I am right now really is that it's kind of, this thing was developed as with just base seed funding which was given right now. So right now the situation really is I'm looking for a little more funding to expand the infrastructure, to expand it to a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is right now at this moment. So from the release perspective, we're not making any new releases in terms of feature. The only thing which I'm working upon right now really is what I really want is all the business logic which is there currently in SQL Server. I want to take it out and put it onto Amazon Athena and use the SQL Server purely for taking the user inputs or reporting back to, via plant and app, and take all the business logic out of the SQL Server, put it on Amazon Athena. And so that this way, it's less costly when it comes to the number of users get increased. Then I can scale Athena, but I cannot scale SQL Server because that's much more costlier for me to scale.
So
right?
you're making plans for adding many users to the system.
Yeah. To expand this thing, to expand this thing, I had to expand infrastructure. And if the system is such that right now, if I expand infrastructure, it would require a lot of additional money.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is then, if I move all the business logic right now, this is running on I think it's a large SQL Server instance, large .NET Nuke instance. That's what it is running upon, right? And I have those contracts, large contracts available until 2025. Right. So, but if I want to expand this thing further, then I have to get to few extra large if I want to go to like the hundreds of users, and for that I have to spend more money. And right now it's currently completely running in the not-for-profit platform, a not-for-profit mode. So it's pretty much I'm draining myself at this moment. So for me to scale it up and take it to next step, I would take all the business logic which is currently in the SQL Server and migrate it onto Amazon Athena. So this way, SQL Server large would be enough to support at least hundreds of concurrent users with a large instance of .NET Nuke and Plant and App, just focusing upon data entry or reporting. Right. So if I do that, then I take all the business logic out. All of that capacity becomes available for 100 concurrent users to do the data entry and reporting. And my business logic is all in Amazon Athena, which runs and then and at a fractional cost. And so cost wise, I achieve scalability, and
Sure.
also I achieve high availability with Athena's high availability and redundancy and all of that.
So it is amazing the being able to leverage those kinds of tools from Amazon and kind of pay as you go mode and Athena is one that I hadn't been exposed to at all yet, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so that is so that is the one which is going to be next major release, and that I suppose would be like in few months, maybe end of third quarter. By the end of third quarter or so, I will have that released completely. And at that point, that system is I would say, then it will pretty much in cruise control. And my next stop after that would be once I get at least 100 users on top of it.
Right.
And then, of course, model improvement. So there's other thing which we actually introduced a couple of months ago was so that requirement came from one of the quant trading clubs. So what happens in some of these quant trading clubs in colleges, what they do is they do algorithmic trading. They do competitions, within the school, who makes more money, who manages their portfolio best. So they write their own algorithms, various different algorithms they write. They want that ability to be able to plug into this system, so that the system they can use purely for risk management and performance management, reporting, and so on and so forth, while they continue developing their own algorithms. So a new job was created for them. Let me show that. Is a Tradelytics API interface S3 inbound. So this job was created for them. So what this job does is that they can put in their trades on S3. It pulls those trades and places them within Tradelytics. And what Tradelytics does is now it enables a data lake for every registered users. In that data lake, every user gets the historical data for all 90 days for 5,000 securities, current price data for all the securities for which they have position in, all the risk matrix calculated, and some more information. So they can use all of that in their algorithms and place the trades back. So one of the things which we would like to do going down the line really is maybe partner with with others who may want to leverage some high performance computing like GPUs or quantum, to basically then integrate with the platform for portfolio rebalancing. So right now the portfolio rebalancing happens like once a day because of the capacity, right? Again, I'm using SQL Server for that. It happens once a day. Every 24 hours it happens once. But some of the large asset managers, and this is really where I would like to target this platform. Like, for example, large asset managers, what they do is they have thousands of securities in their portfolio. And what they do really is they do continuous rebalancing, like every 15 minutes or so across every portfolio. So now for that, they require high performance computing. What we like to do really is if you leverage Amazon's high performance computing platforms, like Amazon Break It for quantum or something, so Amazon's GPUs, and that's really where the algorithms are running. This kind of interface will allow them to run their algorithms there, and they can bring in their trades and place on Tradelytics. That's one thing. Another thing which I would also like to do is to actually create an AMI for Tradelytics, which is basically meaning that this, just like .NET New, this whole Tradelytics AMI would be then available and could be, upon registration, the whole AMI can be stood up for those who actually want to have, for example, small hedge funds who want to have something like this, but they have their own algorithms, but they want to plug in into Tradelytics their own algorithms for reporting purposes or training their new employees and stuff like that, right? So they would be able to do that in there if you create an AMI for it and make it available, for quick sale.
So as a private copy, kind of.
Exactly, as a private copy of each individual, each institution of themselves.
Yep.
And then, because then that whole thing is there, what all they have to do really is write, using the API specs, write their own APIs for their own order management system and be done with it. Write own add-on using Tradelytics APIs.
Nice. It sounds like you've been kind of taking a philosophy of using the best available tool for the right purpose. So plant an app for front end, and then those variety of other tools for their particular pieces, so that you're just leveraging. It's kind of a standing on the shoulders of giants mentality.
That's the idea, right? Because I think that's how I think the ideal should be. Whoever is best in doing whatever they can do, right? We should be able to leverage them all, and they all should be able to come together for the best possible outcome, right? So that's and quicker. So that's basically the idea. Why should I be worrying about the availability, resiliency, business continuity, all the stuff when Amazon can provide that? Why should I be taxing my capacity with all the processing logic, which can be hosted on something on Amazon, and it can make me worry free for all the 100 things associated to it?
So along the way, you mentioned the possibility that if somebody were interested, there would be next steps, being able to investigate the platform itself deeper.
Yes.
And
yes.
how would they?
So what they can do is I would show that. Simply go here, register.
Let me put that link in the chat.
It goes to new player register. You put in your information. Let's say test one, last name. I'm just going to put some, let's say I'm going to go there, I'm going to put you as a user. How about that?
Sure.
What's your email?
Dale.warner@plantanap.com.
I'm not going to create it right now, but I'm just going to show that.
Sure.
And then let's put some street address, XYZ, country.
I'm in the United States in Texas.
Yes, sir. Okay. Put some city, some postal code. Verify to register. So this way, I'm not going to cancel. I'm going to cancel it here, but that's where it's going to take. Right, pay with PayPal, the next, and then it will take you through the process of it, basically.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Any last thoughts before we close today?
Not really thoughts, but pretty much an invitation, I would say, because right now this is not for profit. I'm seeking, people who are tech savvy, who would like to partner in this kind of initiative. You can reach out to me, and then, if that's something you would like to do, like, whether you whether you want to be a development partner here to take, let's say, for example, taking up a module, or you want to basically start some kind of a quant club in your area and you want to use it over here, we can certainly work that out. So that's where we are right now.
Very
So
nice.
there are two. I just initiated few forums. I haven't. They're not active, right? So there are 3 primary areas you're looking for people to participate: AWS development, AI model development, algorithmic trading, quantum computing. So if you are interested in any of these areas to basically, leverage the platform for, we'll be more than happy to participate with you on that. On AWS development side, as I mentioned, primarily the goal really is to migrate all the business logic on Amazon Athena.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to grab back the share here just for a minute, because we have a happy low coding slide we use, and we just thank you for investing your hour with us to take a look at this interesting use case for Plant an App. And just want to thank Vivek. Thank you for taking the time to put together a presentation and to show us how you're using the product. I like the way you started, just talking about being able to fail fast and move the model ahead as fast as you can. Looks like you've come a great way in a short amount of time.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you. And I really appreciate the help Plant and App has given me, like you and you, Bodgan, right? You guys have given me along the way. That was kind of instrumental and critical for me to basically get to the point where I am right now. So thanks a lot for that.
Very good. So please join us again for another episode in 2 weeks. And thank you, and happy low coding.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.